two reasons really. There's a huge social need for it. At the time when I first started looking into the project, when I met with affordable housing people, they told me that there was 400 plus people, families on the waiting list, and just based on that, just with the thought of that many people desperately needing houses. And there's all different levels of need. I've talked to people that were literally living in cardboard boxes, and that was a real eye opener. I pictured that in Toronto, but not my little hometown, I guess, of Fredericton. And just to hear that made me want to do something about it. But also there's a great business case for it. The funding that's available right now, it just makes these projects work really well, and it's great when when the business model and the social need come together. So there's a great business case there. It makes it very easy to put together a project, and it makes it very easy to get bank financing when they know that the government is basically paying for 50% of the affordable units up front. It costs roughly $80,000 a unit to build an apartment building, and with the funding at $40,000 per unit, half of the federal government is giving you 50% of the money up front, and paying for or guaranteeing the rent for 20 years on the affordable units. It makes it extremely easy to get financing approved, and also for people starting out in construction and in business, it makes it very easy for them to get started, because they don't need as much of their own money as any other project would. The funding is provided up front from the government. So people, especially people starting out in business and in construction, this is a great way to get into it. Yes, yeah. We really made an effort to get the right look for the building. We hired a great architect and started off right. And I think just from the outside of the building, we used all natural wood siding instead of vinyl siding, and put a nice glass entranceway. And throughout the building, I think we've gotten a lot of compliments on how the building looks both inside and out. So yeah, I think this building defies those stereotypes, and it's a great looking building, and very functional, and but also we stuck with our budget as well, and so. All the units are exactly identical. There's no difference between any of the units. It's just it's a requirement of the province to have certain units assigned to the province. They have basically a 20-year lease on those units, so that's just something that's set up by the province. The people that are working in that building are the hardest working people out there. Several of the people are working full time and in school. Several people, everyone in the building is working. It's just the reality of how it is extremely expensive to live today, and on any job that's paying minimum wage or close to that, you simply cannot rent an apartment in this city and buy food. This building is geared towards families, and there's 4 to 5 families living in that building now, and I know how expensive it is to raise my family, and how at the end of the month I don't have any extra money in my bank account, and I can only imagine how hard these people are working so we're providing an important service. We're giving people a place to live, and at an affordable rate. But I know, the reality of the people in this building is that they're all working, and they're working harder than many people in society, working 2 jobs or working a full-time job and going to school. No, we're completely full. It was just a matter of 2 weeks until the building was completely full, and
Wow.
we're rented through until next September. The whole stigma of of affordable housing as being, higher management or more challenging clientele or any of this is simply not true. It wears on me a bit actually. It's just there's such a falsehood to that. They're the easiest tenants we've ever dealt with, and any time we've gotten calls from them, they've been completely legitimate, so there's put simply, I guess there's no difference between the affordable units and the other units in terms of workload for us or issues or the clients that we have are fantastic. I can't say enough about them. It drives me nuts. Though, the guy. There's one guy in particular I'm thinking of, and I see him every morning going off to work, and he's got a son, and he's just I know he works long hours, but the reality is that McDonald's jobs. He works at McDonald's, and he can't $9 an hour. I just did the math in my head, I don't know how he just couldn't do it otherwise. The apartments are so ridiculously expensive in the city. Fredericton's very expensive. We've got a family that we've adopted through the Multicultural Association from Ethiopia, and I feel so we do everything we can to help her, but she's on the waiting list for the affordable housing. Mm-hmm. But the poor woman is just once with her welfare check, I don't know where she has money for food. And she probably doesn't. The whole idea is to get away from the ghettos of that were the mistakes of the 70s, I guess. There's lots of examples of why that didn't work, and so the sort of it doesn't make sense just to isolate certain sectors of the population, and as it turns out, it's been a great mix for us. We've got a lot of families in the building, and we've got a few students and just working professionals, and I can't it's worked much better even than I had ever imagined. We've had no complaints at all coming around on their stereotypes, and that's a good thing. Well, I think everyone has a responsibility. I think one of the biggest things people could do, our city council and the business community and the individuals, is to write their MPs and MLAs and force the issue of advancing further funding. Right now, funding is frozen until 2011. There's no more funding to be released until 2011. And so any projects that people are thinking of doing are on hold. So we, with enough lobbying, I know that CMHC would advance that funding faster. And the reality is, and as sad as it is, that the list is not getting any shorter because as soon as we check some people off the list and put them in affordable housing, there's going to be more people that need it. So we need to continue to build this, and and we can't just sort of turn a blind eye to the situation. We have a responsibility to look after everyone in our community, and the people that are living on the street and the people that go to the food bank on a daily basis. We have, as a community, a responsibility to look after them.